Hello everyone, it's good to see you all back. Today we've got an exciting Warlock build to discuss, one that blends the mystical power of Spirit Osimomancy with Spirit of Swarm class bond, for an absolute devastating combination of crowd control and utility. Whether you're diving into PvE content or testing your might in Crucible, this build will have you covered. So grab your light and let's get into it. Starting with exotic armor Solipsism with its two exotic effects, it states, a Spirit Osimomancy, your grenades recharge faster on hits. The Seek of the Spawn from cold snap grenades travel further, and Spirit of Swarm, where destroying a tangle spawns threadlings. With Osimomancy, you gain access to freezing multiple enemies at once with freeze and track ability. You can freeze enemies, slow down large groups of enemies, and even shatter them for devastating effects. All of these, when done correctly, can net you quite a bit of energy back, which then means we can repeat this more often as much as we like, and then can further expand it by attaching other key aspects of fragments such as Feed the Void or faster command, etc. But what happens when you pair this up with Spirit of Swarm? Well, that's where things get interesting. Now, the Swarm class bond might not be the first thing you have in mind when you're thinking of a Warlock build, but hear me out. The Swarm bond significantly boosts your ability to control and manipulate enemies in your vicinity. It gives you an extra layer of crowd control by making your melee and abilities that create tangles even more useful while on the field. The synergy between this and Osimomancy's freeze ability makes it an awesome setup for high-paced PvE content like raids, dungeons, and even Crucible, when you're looking for an edge in controlling space and inflicting high damage in 1 or 2 hits in a fast session. Now, our second exotic is the Salvation's Grip with its exotic effect, Cryo Cannon, which states, this weapon's charged projectile creates a pattern of stasis crystals on impact and frees nearby targets. Although many of you may think using the following grenade launcher for the build doesn't offer much to the end user, I disagree. Firstly, the weapon will work in tandem with Fast Awakening and Command, which are two fragments that offer quite a bit of utility towards the build's function. Secondly, as it has two forms, you can use its two forms as both offensive and defensive in case the situation requires you to adapt really fast. Lastly, using this charge attack and getting kills with glaciers will allow us to create quite a bit of status shards in the process. This is important as we have arcane needles as our main melee charge, and having this as a quick way to recharge means we can get unraveling round more often for our chosen strand weapon. Unless you want something for more damage over time, this weapon offers just that, and more in a few nifty ways when you think about it. For aspects and fragments, we then have the following. Feed the Void, where defeating a target with an ability will grant you Devour. Weaver's Call, where using your class ability will generate 3 threadlings that will attack nearby targets. A Facet of Hope, where having an elemental buff will slowly regenerate your class ability. A Facet of Command, where freezing or suppressing targets will reload your equipped weapon and increase weapon stability, aim assist, and airborne effectiveness. It will also grant you Stasis Shard or Void Breach. A Facet of Awakening, where defeating targets with light or dark damage will generate an element of pickup corresponding with them. A Facet of Balance, where rapidly defeating targets with light abilities grants melee energy. Rapidly defeating targets with dark abilities grants grenade energy. And Facet of Bravery, where defeating targets with grenades grants volatile rounds of void weapons. Defeating targets with melee grants unraveling rounds to strand weapons. With focus on the class bond present, I want to cover its 2 usage as much as possible through the fragments and aspects given. A Spirit of Osimomancy is quite good on its own, so it's not something you need to heavily invest in too much. Adding Facet Command to our cold snap grenades will not only provide us with a quick auto reload for all of our weapons, but the ability to also get stasis shards will pay forward towards our higher usage of arcane needles in the build. I also added the Feed the Void as a backup towards our grenades, just in case a class bond effect doesn't always grant us the large amount we always want. Now, Spirit of Swarm is a doozy to activate, as you can rely on just Weaver's Call and Arcane Needles to create tangles and then go from there. However, I have incorporated Facet of Awakening and Bravery to the build to make it easier to create tangles through abilities and weapon kills. We do not have any weapons or big mods available that will generate a large amount of melee energy back towards the user, outside of balance. And personally, I'm fine with this, as much options are already quite available for us. You can invest if you like, but I don't see the point of doing so, unless you intend to use your melee a lot going forward. Now, the gameplay shown will give you a good insight as to how the build plays out, and what you can do to adapt to your own version of the build, but generally this is how my mindset goes when going with the following. For the mods and stats, we have both resilience and discipline marked with the highest priorities for the build. Strength is also being supported through additional pickup items. Resilience, we have ours at tier 10 for a 30% damage reduction. We've added the concussive dampener mod for the reduced AoE splash damage done to us. Nothing more needs to be added since we'll be playing from long distance and freezing enemies and playing quite a lot. Discipline, we have ours at tier 10 for a 1 minute 1 second cooldown via cold snap grenades. A cold snap is required for this build if you wish for the Osimomancy effect to actually kick in. I would advise not going with something else as it would invalidate faster command usage in game and Osimomancy exotic effect in action. There's not really much to really cover here since we have Feed the Void to help escalate its recovery rate even more, so overall the perk is working as beneficial as possible. Although when it comes down to the additional mods though, this is what I would recommend for buffing our key stats. Impact Induction times 1 for a 12% grenade buff, Momentum Transfer times 1 for a 12% melee buff, and Bolstering Detonation for a 12% class ability buff is everything that you need. You can add the Outreach mod like shown as well, but the build feels like it's already in a good spot. Additional mods, we then have the following: Dynamo, where casting your class ability near enemies will generate super energy, Heavy Ammo Finder, Reserves and Scavenger mods for a heavy weapon, Harmonic Siphon for creating all the power via matching elemental weapon types, a Charged Up times 1 for increasing the maximum stack of armor charges by +1, a Strand Weapon Surge times 1 for a 10% strand weapon buff, Elemental Charge where collecting ability pickups have a chance of giving you armor charge, Reaper where upon using your class ability and then a kill, a orb power is generated, and Powerful Attraction where using your class ability will collect nearby orbs of power. So as we have covered our exotic heavy weapon, I will then advise you to pick some super weapons for the build. What I recommend are all optional, so please keep this in mind. Our primary will be the Tarix Pos with 4 times the charm and Hatchling. I would recommend you try and get a strand weapon as well, as you want to try and activate your class bond effect as much as possible. Now, the following offers us the ability to be used in endgame via barrier jumps, inflict higher damage via 4th time the charm, and trigger Tangled via Hatchling perk. All of these are what I need for the build, so it can be used in all sorts of activities. If you have played Iron Banner and unlocked Tusk of the Boar with Splice and Hatchling, then this might be a good alternative choice to pick, since you can severely weaken targets with concussive reload mod applied to it. It's a good choice to keep in mind, so keep that in mind. As secondary, we have the Wild Style with Spike Grenade, Reconstruction, and Vorpal Weapon. Gotten from Zavala, this grenade launcher is a good weapon to have if you haven't unlocked the Lost Signal grenade launcher just of yet. This weapon hits hard and fast against all, and with concussive reload mod applied to it, you can increase yours and your team damage even more. This works perfectly for my build, as it will indirectly support my Threadlings once in action. While we are familiar with the many god roles and sought after roles players are looking for, I find the unique class bond combos to be something of worth and value for some. Osimomancy and Swarm may be two exotics that have different functions to each other, but they both share one common trait, which is they have a very passive effect upon action. Within this prismatic build, it actually shows this off pretty well. Osimomancy and Cold Snap Grenades and Feed the Void provide a passive and fast way to freeze numerous enemies in one single grenade. Combine this with faster command, and you can get a free reload for all weapons, and also produce status shards, which benefits our melee cooldown rates. A Swarm can activate through a number of things, but for us, this will mainly be our melee in hand. Using the power of Arcane Needles, Strand Weapon with Hatchling, and Weaver's Call, we can produce quite a good amount of tangles for the numerous amount of threadlings being produced. To enhance our efforts more, I did add in the Facet of Bravery and Awakening to help bolster its effects by 100%. Now every time we get a kill or two, we can create tangles and threadlings on a more smoother basis. The best thing about this build though is its natural gameplay can be adapted into whatever weapons, mods or fragments you like, as long as you keep the main ones intact. Such a build will play favourable to those who enjoy using both their melee and grenades in tandem, and in a higher rate than normal. I personally enjoy using my grenades more in most of my builds, but I know not everyone thinks the same. So providing such an option is not only fun and wise to do, but it shows off not all class bonds are a write-off. Hopefully, you guys have this role somewhere in your vault, but if not, maybe keep an eye out for it. So there we have it. I hope you all enjoyed the build breakdown. If you have any thoughts on the content shared, then please leave a comment below, while if you enjoyed the content and want more of these videos, then leave a like and a sub while you're here. A dim link for the builds located below in the pinned section, and I do advise you to check out my playlist for more. It was great sharing today's video with you all, and I hope to see you again soon.